the journal there. So likewise, you can just change some content in that component. But other than that, the same component which is going to be used in the majority of the part of the Netflix site. That's what the component. It is based on that. And also it is going to use a virtual DOM to efficiently update the UI. So that is all the three important parts about the React. Whereas while talking about the Angular, it has been developed by a Google, and this Angular is a TypeScript based framework for building web application. Okay, because it is not like JavaScript library, it is a TypeScript based framework. Okay, so that's what the Angular is. And also it uses two-way data binding approach where changes in the model are automatically reflected in the view. Same as like whatever the changes which you are doing in the view, it's going to be reflected in the model. Even I have in the demo, you can able to explore this. And after that, Angular provides a comprehensive set of feature for building complex application. Yes. So that's what we guys have already discussed when we are really covering about frameworks versus the libraries. Whenever you are really looking for the libraries, the flexibility is the key thing. You can use your code. You can modify your code anytime you really want. So based on the need, the lot of flexibility is going to be there in the library. But whereas while talking about the framework, it is a set of instruction. You need to modify or you need to change your code based on that framework, based on the rules and condition which has been maintained by the framework. That's what the thing. And since because it is it is a place where you need to modify your code and you need to place it here, it is going to provide a lot of features. Okay, so it is having both pros and cons. Okay, flexibility is not going to be there that much, but other than that, since because it is standard pre-built one, so there is a lot of features which you can use it. Okay, that's what the framework is, as same as like the Angular and Vue. And created by Ivan Yu, Vue.js is a progressive JavaScript framework for building a user interface. It is a JavaScript framework. And it is also known as simplicity and ease of integration to existing project. And Vue.js uses reactive data binding and virtual DOM similar to React. Okay, so this is what the three simple explanation. Don't worry, it is just for some interview questions or something. If it is there, you can just answer these things. Okay, that's why I've given a precise information. Just go through this. Now let us go with some comparison overview. Whenever you are comparing architecture, so this is what the comparison is. If you are talking about the React, it is going to use a virtual DOM. Whenever you're talking about the Angular, it is going to use a two-way data binding. That's what the second thing. Whenever you're talking about the Vue.js, it is going to use reactivity to update the DOM based on changes to the data model like the React.js. So this is the comparison on architecture. Okay, so whenever in an interview or any places, if there is a question, like while talking about architecture, so this React is going to use a DOM, okay, the virtual DOM especially. And while talking about the Angular, it is going to use a two-way data binding. And Vue.js, which is going to use a reactivity to update the DOM based on the changes to the data model. That's what the three differences on the architecture. Whenever you're talking about the component structure, React is going to use the JavaScript XML. So I think we guys have already explored the JSX. So this JavaScript XML, which is going to be helpful for defining the components and combining the HTML syntax with the JavaScript logics, everything can be done with the help of JSX. Whenever you're talking about the Angular, it is going to use a template. Okay, here if we are using a JSX, here we are going to use a template to define the components. And whenever you're talking about the Vue.js, it is going to use a single file components. Okay, that's what the part about the Vue.js. Okay, these are all the three differences on the component structure. Single file components for Vue.js, JSX is for React, and templates for Angular. Same as like virtual DOM for the React, and two-way data binding for the Angular, and reactivity for the Vue.js. I think you really love this differentiation. If you really love this differentiation, you just post, I love this Sanjay in live chat. And whenever you're talking about the state management, as we have already explored the to-do list application, if I'm entering some to-do, like I want to go for the shopping, and if I'm clicking enter, without drastic change, that content need to be updated in that page. And whenever I'm adding another thing, it need to be updated in the same page. And whenever I'm deleting it, that complete state is needed to be maintained. So it should not be like whenever I'm typing and hitting enter, that the old one is got erased, a new one is getting appeared. It is not like replacing. So it need to be appended. That state need to be maintained properly. To manage that state, whenever you're talking about the React, we'll be using a Redux. I think we guys have explored. And when you are talking about the Angular, it is going to use RxJS for reactive programming and managing the data streams. And whenever you're talking about the Vue.js, it is going to use Vuex for state management, okay, which has been inspired by the Redux. So, but this is going to be easily integrated with the Vue.js, Vuex. Okay, here we'll be using a Redux, and here we'll be using a RxJS, and here we'll be using a Vuex. That's what the three things on the state management. And whenever you're talking about the routing, I hope you all remember the routing, right? When people are clicking home, so that may be navigated into old URL /home. When people are clicking about us, so the existing URL /about us, the route which you need to plan, right? So whenever people are clicking enter, or whenever whenever people are clicking a certain button, so it need to be navigated into the another page. That another page which is going to have another content, so where that navigation need to be there. Even we guys have did it with the help of the Postman, right? I hope you all remember the Postman application. So if you really want to do that kind of task, that is what the routing is. And whenever you're talking about the routing, of course, if it is a React, we'll be using a React router. And if it is an Angular, there is an individual Angular router. And Vue.js, there is a Vue router. We'll be using it to handle the routing process. And now I hope you guys have got a clear differentiation between each and every, frameworks and libraries, the mostly used frameworks and libraries. Now, without wasting time, let us jump on to the demo. So first of all, while talking about the demo, so what we are going to build, right? The same to-do app, but we are going to add some features into it. Not only this, adding task and delegating a task and view task, and also we are going to create something additional. Okay, just see the output. Then you'll understand and get a clear idea. So how our flow is going to be, we are going to create one application by using multiple different frameworks and library. For an example, if this is the project, the same project, we are going to build it with the help of Angular, which is going to be built with the help of the React, and which is going to be built with the help of Vue.js. So then you will be getting a clear idea how each and everything has been different. Just see this. Here I have we have created the header section, and here we have a footer section. In that header, here we have one title called My To-Do List, and in the navigation bar, Home, To-Do List, About. So likewise, we guys have three menus in the navigation bar. When people are in the first page, it is going to be in the home page. Welcome to-do list app and manage your task efficiently and effectively. When people are clicking about, so it is going to be navigated there into the about page. And also when people are clicking to-do list, so it is going to show you the list like this. And whenever people are typing something, so that is going to be added a task with the bullet points with the delete button. And this is how it is going to be working. And whenever people are deleting it, that task will be deleted. So this is what the same one single application, but we are going to build it with the help of different frameworks and libraries. That is what our project overview is. Now we are stepping onto the React part. While talking about the React part, so what is going to be your first step is to create an application. So to create an application, I hope you already know the command. So we are going to create an application with the help of npx create new app. So on that way, I'm going to create a new application with the help of the React. Okay, to do that, I'm just going to create a new directory like React. And now I'm just going to open that React new folder. Okay, just carefully watch. Yeah, so we just opened it, and now open your terminal, because we are going to start working on an application. So once you have created an empty folder, now it's time to create a project into it. So what is the project which we are going to create? The project name is task manager -react or something. And first of all, npx space create -react app, and I'm going to give the name for my project. So whenever you're hitting enter, it will automatically create the React project in your directory. Okay, React application. So now we guys have got this happy hacking. So which means that we guys have installed the React application. Now, first of all, we need to go into the directory from the terminal. So to do that, cd space tab, so that it is going to be automatically showing you the application task manager -react, and hit enter. And if you want to check your application, npm space start, whenever you're hitting that, so it is going to open that new application, the React app, which we are going to create it right now. So that's what how it is going to work. Okay, so now okay, so existing already the project is running on the another port to show you the demo. So that's why it is showing you like already the application is running in a certain port number. But right now we guys have created this application. So on the left hand side category, directory, you can see the node modules, public, source, and etc. Now it's time to create a components. And just carefully remember, whenever you are seeing your application, here we have the component. This is about page is one of the component, and total list is another component, and home is the another component. So likewise, we have different components. So that's why right now we are going to create that components. To create that components, so what is the first thing we need to do is get into this directory and go to the source folder and click a new folder option and create a new folder called components. Okay, we have created a new folder called components and give the name. Okay, so while talking about the name, so about.js, I'm just going to give the name like about.js. I've just created a new file. Okay, once I have created, okay, what I'm doing, we are creating a new component into the directory. Okay, inside the components folder, we are creating the file called about.js, and I'm just going to paste this code. So constant space about is equals to, we are creating one function. Inside that, what it should be written about this app as a heading to tag. And this is a simple to-do list application built using React. This is what the paragraph tag. So likewise, we guys have created recreated the page. If you are clicking that about, so this is how it should be shown about this app, which is like heading to tag, and this is the paragraph tag. This is simple to-do list application built using React. So likewise, we guys have created this with the help of the components. Is it simple? Okay, so likewise, whatever the component you really require, you need to create that file, that JavaScript file into that components folder. Okay, now into the components folder, we have created one component called about us, which is going to have only 2 lines of content. One is heading to content and another one is a paragraph content. Both the things which is created inside the div, which is going to return as about function. So export default about. Simple. We guys have created one component completely. Now it's time to create another component. So while talking about another component, now let us create the easy components first. So the another easy component is gonna be your footer. So footer.js. So now in the footer.js, you can see import space styled from styled components. Guys, I think we haven't explored styled a lot. So what is the thing is, whenever you are working on the React application, you can add the CSS with the help of the styled functionality. Even you can just see this is same as like before the component which you have created about us, about.js page, constant footer. Now we are creating for the footer is equals to return of styled footer. Okay, because we are going to work on some CSS. So that's why we guys have opened and closed the styled footer tag, and inside that paragraph tag, the copyright symbol 2024 my to-do list inside this paragraph tag. So that's what we guys have did. Look how that copyright symbol 2024 my to-do list. So that is what we guys have did. And also remember this styled footer, which is nothing but like adding a CSS for your component or the element which you are creating. So that's what we guys have did. Constant space styled footer is equals to styled dot footer. We are really focusing on the footer. And now background is 333, which is like somewhat gray color. So that's what we guys have did. And background color is this. And again, the color is this. And padding is 1 rem. So that's what we guys have did. And text alignment is center and position is absolute. And bottom is 0. And then with this 100%. So likewise, you can able to add those CSS functionality inside the JavaScript with the help of this command like styled footer, style.footer, and inside this, we guys have add all the properties and its values. So whenever you are giving that, whatever the content which you have written inside this styled footer tag, like inside the style footer tag, we guys have written only the paragraph tag, right? So for that paragraph, so whatever the thing which is needed to be applied, that is gonna be applied here. Okay, 1 meter padding, I mean 1 m padding. So you just can see that. And here the title, which is also somewhat not bright white, it is somewhat little gray. And other than that, the background color, which is all at the gray. Okay, that's what which is all gray. I think FF, which is also going to be white. So white color font, and the background, which is going to be gray color, is because of that #333. So that is what the second component we have created, which is a header component. And now we'll go for the next component, which is like header component. We have completed the footer component. And now whenever you're seeing the header component, which is going to have a title, and also it is going to have a 3 paragraph menus: home, to-do list, about. So that's what we are going to work on now. So what we are going to do is we are going to create another component like header component. So to do that, inside the component folder, create the component called header.js. And inside that, just see this code. This code is also going to be simple. First, React has been imported and style has been imported because we need to do the CSS parts. So with the help of that style in the React.js, that's why we guys have imported the style. And after that, React router DOM. So we are going to use the DOM. So that is going to be linked into it. So import space link from React router DOM. So which we are going to call it later. And now constant header is equals to, inside that, we guys have, of course, we guys have specified the styled header option so that you can able to, decorate it or more format it. So inside that styled header, we are going to start creating elements. On elements, the first thing, which is like my to-do list heading, okay, which is going to be in the heading one, that's we have did. And then we are going to create a navigation menu. In the navigation menu, in the navigation list, we are going to add one by one item. So nav item, and after that styled link to /home, because whenever you are really hovering, some underline is appearing, right? So that's why we are giving an individual ID for it. Styled link to is equals to /home style, because it is also going to be very, very responsible for the routing as well. So what is the thing is, whenever people are clicking home, so it is going to be looking like this. When people are clicking to-do list, in the URL, it is needed to be appended like /to-do. And when people are clicking about, it's also navigated them into appending is like /about. So that is also need to be done. So styled link to is equals to /, because whenever I'm clicking home, you can see nothing, right? So that is what the home. And in another second item is navigation item, nav item, style link to do. So when people are clicking to do, that /to do, which is getting appeared, that to do list. And then third thing, which is about us, when people are clicking about, which is going to be appearing like /about. So that is what we have done. Okay, navigation menu. Inside the navigation menu, we have created the navigation list tag. Inside the navigation list tag, we guys have created the 3 navigation item. One is home, another one is to-do list, another one is about. So likewise, we have created all these 3 things. And after that, now it's time to format with the help of the CSS, especially the styled header. I mean, style CSS kind of option, like styled components. And now we are going to create the constant space styled header, because we have already included every complete element like heading 1 and navigation items, everything inside this styled header. So the complete modification, what you need to do, the background need to be as a gray color. That's what this 333. And font color, which is going to be white. That's what this FFF. And then padding, which is like home, to-do list, about. So that is what we guys have added. Padding. And text alignment is going to be center. So home, to-do list, about. So likewise, we guys have added the text alignment as well. And after that, whenever you're talking about each and every individual element, now we guys have added the general padding, like the top and the bottom. So that is what the general padding. But now we need to work on the specific navigation item alignments and formattings. So that's why whenever you're talking about the first thing, so navigation list is equals to string lot and nodal. So this is what the calling an element. So what you need to modify, which one thing you need to modify it. So on that aspects, navigation list is equals to style.li. Here we guys have added a list style as none. So initially it is going to be none, because we don't want that dot or 1 2 3 or something. So that's what first of all initially we have made as like a none, and padding a 0, display as flex. Okay, we guys have added display as flex because everything which is going to be organized in the row, and in a single row, and justify content is center. So that's also we guys have added. And after that, now we are going to so now we guys are going to work on the navigation item style.li. So here this is for unordered list, and this is for the general list, the complete list which we are creating. So that for that, what are all the things? So margin colon 0 1 rep. What does it mean? So it is going to add some space after that certain list, each and every individual list. And now it's time to add for the list, link, because whenever you are hovering with your mouse, okay, home, to-do list, or about, the underline need to be there. So that's what the same thing we have did. The same color is going to be white color, text decoration as none, but ampersand colon hover, text decoration will be changed into underline. So initially it will be none, but whenever you are hovering with your mouse, it is gonna be changed as underline. So export space default space header, that's what it's all about. So this is what is all about the header component. So here we guys have initially made that header background which is to be gray, and font color which is a white, and heading 1, and then we guys have created a 3 list under the navigation menu, home, to-do list, about. Okay, and whenever you are hovering, that underline need to be appeared. So that's what we guys have did here. Okay, I hope you guys have got a clear idea on the header component. And what is the next component which is remaining, which is gonna be your home component. So when people are clicking home, so simple message which you really want to print. So that's why what we are going to do is in this section, I'm going to create another new component called home component. So home.js. So home.js, which I've created. And now in this home component, just carefully watch, constant home is equals to dev welcome to to-do list app, and manage your task efficiently and effectively. So likewise, I just given some messages like heading 2 and paragraph tag. And once we have given that, that's it. Now we guys have created all 4 components: about text component, footer component, header component, and home.component. component. And also another component is also there. I hope you already know what that component is, that to-do list component. In that to-do list component, which is going to have to-do list and add new task and add task. So likewise, we really need this option. So that's why, of course, you might have guessed it right. The to-do component, which is going to be bit bigger because it need to have a lot of features, right? So that's why I'm going to create that to-do.js. So this is going to be another component, but it is going to be very simple. Don't worry. We are going to add the CSS into it. That's why it is going to be bigger, looking bigger. So now we are going to use state. Why? Because whenever you are really working on this application, you are giving some statement or message when people are clicking add task. So that is going to be added. And whenever you are adding another task, so each and every task which is going to be added as a list. So here that state needed to be managed. So that's why in the rest of the component, we haven't imported any state. But in this to-do component, we guys have brought the state, use state from a React, because we are going to use the React state management functionality. And of course, here also we are going to do some work on some CSS part. So styled component, so that you can able to work on formatting those things. And we have created a function to do, constant to do's, comma, set to do's, use state. What is the thing is, it is gonna be creating an empty array. So it is empty, right? So it is like initialization. We are initializing an empty array to store all the list of to-do items. So what is meant by list of to-do items? This is what the list of to-do items. Okay, because that whenever I'm adding something, everything has been added as a list. That is what the list of to-do items, which we are going to initialize it. Initializing the empty array, which is going to be helpful for saving all the list of elements. And second thing, task, comma, set task, a string to store the current input value from for a new to-do item. What is the thing is, this is what the thing. So whenever I'm typing something, that string, that is what that task is. Okay, the to-dos which is going to be and creating an array to store the list of to-do items, because it is going to have the first list called SDA something, and ASD again ADD so that is what which is going to be the first one. And second thing which is going to have a string to store the current input value. So whenever you are giving some input value here, that to save that we are creating an empty string. So that's why to create an array, that square braces which has been opened, to create a string, that single quotes which has been opened. So that's what the two initialization we have done. And after that, we need to create some sub functions. What are all the sub function? Adding it, the function of this add task button. So that is what the another function we need to create. And when people are clicking delete, what it should do? That's what the two sub function we need to create. So on that, first of all, we are creating the first sub function called add to do. For the add to do, if there is any task, for example, whenever people are clicking add task, simply it should not add the empty string because we haven't typed anything. So instead, it should add the task if it exists. So that's why if there is something to add, so which is going to make sure where there is some certain content which is present in the task, because that's what we have already initialized, right? Which is going to fetch the data from that certain part. So set to-dos of this to-dos comma ID. So what it is going to assign is, it is going to assign date, current date as an ID for that certain task. Okay, so that ID and text is a task. So likewise, we guys have added. Here, you might have a question, what is that triple dot, Sanjay? Triple dot is nothing but which is going to be helpful for to copy the existing to-do item into a new array and add it. So that's what we guys have done. Okay, just carefully watch. So here we are going to have this to-dos, because we have already shown that this task is nothing but which is going to be helpful for saving the current string, the input value. But it needed to be added into the array to save, that is the complete task. So just carefully watch spread operator to copy the existing to-do item into a new array and adds the new to-do item to the end of the array, because whatever the task which is getting added, everything which is needed to be updated into the list of to-dos, the to-do list 1, to-do list 2, to-do list 3. So likewise, each and every task which is needed to be added. So that's why set to-dos, in the set to-dos, we are going to fetch each and every task with its specific ID, and that task which is going to be added into the to-dos array. So that is what the thing. So that has been done. And then set task as empty, because so once that task has been added, when clicking add task, that rest of the text, rest of the string need to be erased, right? Again, it need to be converting as an empty, right? That's what it has been did here. Set task as empty, because task is nothing but the string which we are typing in that text box, and to-dos is nothing but saving all the list of the task which has been getting added into it. So that's why we are going to empty that certain box. So once you have clicked the task, that's what we guys have done. Whenever we are adding a task, it need to assign a certain ID for the task, and you need to fetch the text of the task which we have entered, and it need to append that into a to-dos array. So whenever people are adding multiple elements, multiple tasks, everything which is going to be appended in an array. So that's what to-do is all about. And when people are clicking delete to-do, what it should be done? So set to-dos.filter of to-do.id not equal to ID. So what it means by that? It is like a filter. So when people are clicking a delete, the respective ID which is gonna be removed from the certain list which is showing. That's what to-dos.filter. We are really flicking off the thing which is we are really deleting it. When I'm deleting it, it is going to match it with the respective ID, and it is going to flick it out from that certain list which is showing the complete list of the to-dos. And now in the return statement, so now we guys have created each and every functions. Now we need to call that functions. So for that, we have created one function like return and container. Inside the container, first of all, we have added the title or heading called to-do list, And inside that, we have created an input box. In that input box, type is going to be a text box, right? So that's what the input box. And the value is a task, because we have already initialized the task, the string which we are going to create it. So that's why we guys have defined that. And on change is equals to E, because as we guys have already discussed, it should not be, it should navigate like having maintaining the current state. It should not refresh each and every time whenever you are typing something. For an example, when people are clicking add task, or whenever people are typing something, it should not be refreshed again and again. That's why to maintain that state, we guys are defined like E target value, and placeholder is equal to add a new task. So what it should be returned. Okay, so look out that add a new task. The text need to be written inside that box. That's what we guys have done here. And then we guys have created one button. So the button called add to do button. So add task, the name which has been written as add task, but it is going to call the function like add to do function. Okay, that's how. So which has been enclosed inside the curly braces. So when people are clicking that add task button, it is going to call the add to do function. And then inside this another list, to do's dot map of to do. So what it should show, after we guys have created these two parts, now it's time to list down all the tasks we have. So to do that, to do's dot map. So to do's is nothing but the array which is having all the list of task. To do's dot map of to do. Li, the list that key is equals to do ID. So based on the specific ID, it is going to list down all the to do task. So the dot, the bullet points, a space, and it is going to print all the text with the delete button. So when people are clicking the delete button, it is going to call that delete.todo ID delete. Okay, delete to do. So we are going to pass that to do ID as an argument for the delete to do function. So that's why just carefully watch. In the add to do, we don't have any argument into it, but in this delete to do function, it is going to have an ID as an argument. So when people are clicking the delete to do function, it is going to pass that specific ID as an argument, and then it is going to call the function like delete to do function, and that task is just going to be flicked out from that the list we have. And now it's time to do a styling and all. I hope you already know about the styling. So first thing about the container. In that container, the padding which has been at the top and then bottom. So that's what the first modification we have did. And the input box. While talking about the input box, so this is what the thing. So whenever you are typing something, so how it need to be displayed, that's what the style.input. And now it's time to modify the button. So while talking about the button, so here we are going to work on that add task button. So that's why background of the button, which is going to be dark gray color, and font of the button, which is going to be a white color, and border is also been applied, and cursor is appointed, because whenever you are really hovering it, that cursor which is needed to be changed into that hand symbol. So that's what we guys have did. And constant delete button. So how the delete button it should be displayed. So here we guys have made the background color of the delete button, which is going to be red, but other than that, the cursor, which is also going to be pointer. Whenever you're hovering this button as well, the cursor need to be changed as a hand symbol. And finally, it is going to export the default to do. So likewise, we guys have created 5 components. I hope you all super clear about the 5 components. Number 1 is about and footer, header, home, and to do. Okay. So home, to do, about, and header and footer. So likewise, we guys have created the individual 5 components. Now it's time to work it on to the main index.js and those things. Okay, that is also going to be done, and carefully watch. Here already every files is just going to be there. Here after you don't want to create any files. Moreover, you can see this is what the default index.js which it has. Okay, Reboot Web Dev, Vitals, and React.script mode. So it is gonna be there. So this thing, let it be like this. Okay, you don't want to change anything. But now, whenever you are going for the app.js, we are going to do some modification in that app.js, because whenever wait a minute, let me close the existing application. Okay, so I just closed my existing application. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this npm space start, And whenever you are hitting enter, so you can able to see this application is going to be open right now. Just wait and watch. Actually, what it gonna have here, we have created only a components. We haven't called or we haven't done a lot of things in this application. So localhost colon 3000. Yeah, it is gonna be refreshing. So it is trying to work on that certain application. Okay, this is what the components which we guys have created with the default app.js we have. Okay, app.header, react.js, organization. So it's normal. Okay, now, yeah, look out that. This is a default React application. So already we have created an individual component. Now it's time to create the complete application to call all the components we have created. Guys, do you know one thing? It's gonna be very, very simple. How subject? It's very simple. You have already created individual component. About.js separately there, footer.js is separately there, header.js separately there, home.js is there, todo.js is there. Now you need to call everything. Simple. So to call everything, what is the first thing you need to do? You need to call that functions, right? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so you need to call those functions. To call those functions, what is the first thing you need to do is you need to call it with the help of React from React. First, you need to call the React. And then here we need to handle the router, right? Like the path. When people are clicking home, it should call the home component. When people are clicking about us, it should call the about us component to handle the routing. So we guys have gone through that router part. And after that, we guys have imported the header component. So import header from component slash header, import footer from component slash footer, import home from component slash home. So likewise, we guys have called all those component and also styled component, because of course, even if it is a complete application, we need to work on the CSS as well. So we guys have imported the styled function as well. Now we guys are creating the core function called app return. We are going to navigate into the router. So that's why we have opened the router tag, and inside that header open close. I hope you already know what does it really means. Okay, what does it really means? It is nothing but like you will be initializing like this header. This is what the meaning of it. Okay, that's what this header part is all about. So now we are going to initialize, we are going to call the header component. So header open and header close, it is going to automatically call this header thing. And inside the main, we are going to start routing the path. So route space paths space equals to slash. So which is going to call the component called home. When people are clicking that in the home directory, so that is going to be called the home component, home open and home close tag. And whenever people are calling that to do, so when people are clicking that to do part, so it is going to be appending like the path which is going to be slash to do and the to do open and close. That component we have just been called. Same as like for the about. So everything which has been did inside the router tag and inside the main tag. So everything has been did. So now it's time to do a modification like what is it? It's like CSS. And while talking about that, here we guys have added the padding is like to rem. But other than that, minimum height is equals to calc of 100 VH minus 160 pixel. It is nothing but we already have header and footer. Except the header and footer, the remaining part. So that's how you'll be considering. Just carefully watch. Creating layouts where you want an element to fill the remaining space of the viewport. After accounting for fixed elements are like header and footer that take up 160 pixel in height. So throughout the complete process, the header and footer which we have created, if it is going to occupy 160 pixel, take the rest of the part. Okay, that's what we guys have did. So that view area, so that's what viewport, right? This 100 VH, which is nothing but viewport height. That's what the 100 VH minus 160. So except that header and footer, what are all the remaining part, which is that minimum height is. Okay, we guys have configured that. And now let us solve these errors. Now you can see it is giving out the output like, okay, first of all, I hope you all clear up to the upper part. So we have created 5 individual components: about us component, footer component, header component, home dot component, and home component, and to do component. And from the app.js, we have accessed each and every component by opening and closing the respective tag. If it is a header tag, header open, header close. Home tag means open tag on home and close tag on home. So likewise, we guys have called every components, and also we guys have passed the routing as well, so that we can able to switch over to one page or one component to another with the help of the navigation menu we have. So that is what is all about. I hope you all satisfied up to this point. And now, what is the error we are getting? Just go and read that. Can't resolve styled components. Can't resolve styled components. Can't resolve the React router DOM. What does it mean by that? That package we haven't installed. That's what the reason is. So to do that, first, just go through the process. We have created an application. We have created a component, and we have worked on that routes and all. And now we'll check out that that certain functionality, Reactor router DOM. To install that, you need to install it with the help of npm space install. So just go into your path and just terminate your existing process, and first install the router DOM into your application, and then you need to install the styled components, because that's what the error, right? So always try to go and read the error. Don't try to directly copy paste your errors in the Google. Just try to see the error and try to find out what might be the problem, and then execute it. Okay, just execute just npm space install space styled components. So that has also been we are going to install it. Okay, so with the help of that, we going to solve that 2 errors. And once we have did that, now let us try to start the server again. So npm space start. And this is what we have got. So when we have executed this npm space starts, so webpack compiled successfully. So now we guys have solved all those errors. Now you can see this application. So guys, is it great? So my to-do list heading and home option, welcome to this to-do list app, and make your task efficiently, effectively. And whenever I'm clicking to-do list, which is going to show you all those to-do list, whenever I'm adding it, it is really working fine. Whenever I'm clicking about, so this about page which is going to be shown like this. Okay, so do you really love this? And do you really think React is so easy right now? Because yes, it's truly easy. So whenever you really want to create a component, you need to create a component like this, like individual files, and then you need to call every individual component into the main file from the app.js. This is how we guys have did. And also additionally, we have installed 2 important additional functionality. One is Reactor router DOM, because we need to route based on the certain path in the navigation menu. And second thing, styled component, so that you can able to apply the CSS part into your program, into your JavaScript itself. So that's what we guys have did in this project. And I hope you really love this. If you really love this, you just give your comments in the live chat. This is what we guys have did it with the help of the React. And second part of the session, which is going to be covering up the Angular, and then we are moving on to the Vue to create the same application look. And I hope you really love the session. If you really love the session, you just post your comments in the live chat. So thank you so much once again. It's me, Sanjay, signing off. Until then, bye. We'll see you on the next video.